Hello and welcome to Big Deal. Today we are going to talk about the investment and the private equity space. Action has really picked up there, especially also because of the buoyancy that we are seeing in equity markets. Today we have three special guests going to talk about the entire landscape of the investment scenario. We have with us three guests joining us from Delhi. We have Ashley Menezes, who's a partner at ChrysCapital. Remember, ChrysCapital is one of the oldest and a marquee private equity player. We have with us Yash Gupta, who joins us from Hines, India. He's the country head of Hines, India. Hines, remember, is one of the top 5 real estate conglomerates in the world. And we have an old hand in private equity space, PE advisor Arvind Mathur, also joining us from Delhi. Gentlemen, so good to have you on the show. First question to Ashley. Of course, your investments have really been fruitful here in India. At this point, how do you see the investment outlook with the kind of equity market, valuations we are seeing? Is it difficult for investments for private equity players?
So I think, valuation is a function of expectations. I think we strongly believe that India continues to be an attractive destination to make investments from a longer-term perspective. There are certain sectors that we prefer and we have been investing in over many years. We believe that you will find opportunities in those sectors where you can make long-term gains. Valuations are buoyant. Valuations remain high. I think we get paid to pick the outliers, whether they can differentiate themselves and generate a superlative return for our investors. So despite valuation levels, I think there will be opportunities. One has to be a little more selective. It takes a lot more time to sort of find that. So it's interesting, definitely, for us.
All right, interesting times right now. Yash, same is the case for real estate as well. You have made some substantial investments here. Is more to come? Is real estate space, and especially the commercial real estate, where you have done a lot of work as well, is that ripe for more investments for good returns for you?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Ashley. Nisha. We have been in India for almost a decade and have made investments in commercial as well as residential. On the commercial side, there has been proof of concept of delivering good product in India, and on the office side, with Blackstone, with Brookfield, and recently the GIC deal that one hears about in the press with DLF, are all testament to the fact that if you make a good building and create a good cash flow, there will be value there, and that has profited well or bode well for many investors. And likely for us as well, we have built an asset, One Horizon Center in Gurgaon, which has done fairly well on the strength of its product quality. What we look forward to do in India is the fact that in addition to commercial, on the residential side, given the development in the economy, we are very, very bullish on the fact if you develop a good product, if you develop a good home, which is rightfully priced, there will be an opportunity for both making money and for development. The challenge we face is even though the prices of apartments or inventory stock, as we call it in real estate, has corrected, we don't find the same correction on the land prices, which are a key ingredient for us, and we are waiting for those to correct. But we think long-term, India is a very positive investment destination for real estate across all asset classes.
Now, Arvind, coming on this, you're very well versed with where the private equity investments are headed. What is the kind of deal traction do you see? What is the theme doing the rounds in this particular space?
So my analysis of what's happening in the Indian PE space as we speak in the last 6 months or even a year is that there seems to be a lot of excitement in investing in the healthcare space. So a lot of very highly reputable firms like True North, Multiples, and other leading private equity funds, what I notice is that they're really all focused on one asset class in particular, which is the healthcare space. So I think that really stands out. However, the other category of investments that I find private equity funds are really looking at is the NBFC space. And the rationale was, for the healthcare, it's quite obvious. You've got this huge population that needs healthcare. So the rationale is quite obvious. But for NBFCs, it's related, the rationale, I was trying to figure out the rationale, and the rationale really is that the banking system in the country is, and I wouldn't say all the banks, particularly the public sector banks, are going through some stress as we speak, and which sort of leaves an open market for NBFCs. So the growth of the NBFC business is in the region of 25 to 30%, depending on the indicators you look at. So those are two sectors which I found that are attracting a lot of attention and investments by private equity funds.
So let me bring in Ashley on that. Ashley, financial services space is what Arvind also spoke about. And that is one thing that is really doing well in the equity markets. The valuations are on the higher side. That is one sector which is considered quite hot. You have a fair bit of investments there. How is this particular space panning out? And how do you see it going forward? Is more money going to flow into this particular space even at these levels?
No, so I think this has definitely been an interesting space. If you look at the financial services industry, it has historically grown at between 1.5 to 2 times the GDP. So it's definitely been an outperformer. As Arvind touched upon, the non-banking financial services aspect has been a large contributor to some of that growth. And on the banking side, I would say some of the private sector banks, again, have been instrumental in that growth. So, again, from a macroeconomic perspective, the opportunity is very, very large. The number of people who are still unbanked or minusculely banked, and when I say banked, I'm including financial services, non-banking financial services as well, is very minuscule even today. So that is where the opportunity lies. If you look at any metric, whether it's number of cards, number of transactions, so that is something that is intrinsically there. I think in the near term, there are some issues that this sector seems to be facing, especially on the banking side, with the non-performing assets, and that has been a function of the overall slowdown in the economy, in the general economy. But we believe that is sort of a temporary phase. The better-run banks and financial services companies should be able to bounce back and bounce back very well. We continue to remain extremely bullish on this sector. As you said, this is probably one sector where we've deployed the maximum number of dollars and also delivered a significantly high return over the last 17, 18 years.
And will you continue to deploy more?
Certainly. I think this is one of the 4 or 5 sectors that we believe are extremely attractive over the next 4 to 5 years at least.
Yash, coming on the RERA situation, how is the regulator going to help the real estate sector in dressing up to be more investor friendly?
Yeah, I think we as investors see RERA as a very positive development because it provides, apart from the transparency that everyone's talking about, it forces the developer to be more financially and execution focused and more disciplined in how they approach the whole development process. That, as an investor, gives you comfort that A, the project is being seriously looked at, B, there is good management in place, and C, there are checks and balances imposed now by the government, not just self-imposed, but imposed by the government, which ensure that the developer stays honest in many ways to the purpose that he kind of advertised when he started the project. All of these are comfort-making for investors like us. That being said, the devil's in the details. The question is, does the market and do the players in the market really understand what disciplined investment in development is all about? Do they have a disciplined approach? Do they have professional management? Those are the things that we are very focused on, and being a developer ourselves, along with being an investor, that's the value that we bring to the table, which is especially valuable in a RERA environment where people have started focusing on saying it's not just about the land, it is truly about the development.
Yes, a very, very valid point raised there. Yash, Ashley, Arvind, hold your thoughts, gentlemen. We'll slip into a short breather, but we'll return. There's just lots more to talk about the investor environment at the moment. Stay tuned to Big Deal.